The universe is brilliant at confirming what you believe to be true. If you think that nobody wants to be your friend or that nobody finds you interesting and you're at a party, what are you going to do? You might stand in the corner, you might avert eye contact with people. Nobody's going to talk to you. Nobody's going to get the chance to see that you're interesting. These are the 5 mindset hacks that have changed my life. These 5 mindset hacks are the things I actually did to look better at 38 years old than I did in my 20s to attract and manifest and have the best relationship of my life with my husband, a amazing, caring, rich, powerful man who is totally obsessed with me. Go from crying on the floor, embarrassing myself in so many occasions, drunk, alcoholic, alcohol dependent person to now being almost 1 year sober and really starting to feel the benefits of that, being a successful, happy, calm business owner who runs her business her way and pretty much just doing whatever I want, whenever I want. But let me be clear, it was not always this way. I have been punched in the face, had black eyes from abusive past boyfriends that I didn't break up with for that. Drinking every single day of my life, literally, only seeming to choose friends who would use me, extract what they could from me, and then disappear, feeling totally lost, overwhelmed, not present, not connected as a mom, and even being separated from my husband and on the brink of a divorce. So what were the 5 mindset hacks that I used that I still use every day to turn all of that around? Number 1, you have time. You could get stuck in a traffic jam and complain and be frustrated and be angry about it and repeat in your head on loop, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. But the truth is, you do have time for it because you're sitting in it right that moment. You are existing in time all the time. You always have time. If you start thinking this way, you can always be right on time. But if you instead have this mentality of time scarcity, I don't have time, I don't have time, the universe is brilliant at making what you think a reality. So if you keep thinking, I don't have time, what's your reality going to be? You won't have time. You'll be rushing from thing to thing. You'll never enjoy the simple pleasures of life. You will never give yourself a pause and a breather and the rest periods you need to reflect and to generate, all because you're playing this limiting belief in your head, telling yourself you do not have time.
Laura here with another huge example of this. Sidebar, I am sitting in traffic, but that actually gives me time to add this. If you feel like you have no time to get married, have a baby, and all of this stuff, think about the chaotic mindset that puts you in. You're rushing. You might settle and end up with somebody you're not supposed to be with, you're not even really happy with, all because you feel like you don't have time. If you instead said, I acknowledge that I am not where I thought I would be, but I have time to get where I am going to be, how much better off would you be? How much less bullshit would you tolerate? And eventually you will end up with what you want.
And as soon as you're like, I'm chill, I'm not in a rush, I have time, I know what's meant for me is seeking me and will find me, how much more magnetic do you become? And how much more attuned are you to when those opportunities present themselves? And how much higher energy, higher vibration, higher status are you when you are not desperate and in a rush and need something right now? If you really want to get this to the ninja level, think about some of the differences between Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein. Newton thought that time was apart from us. It was this deterministic, cold, unchanging thing. Einstein, on the other hand, proved that time is relative. You put somebody on a super duper fast spaceship, time actually slows down for them. So if you want to think about this in a super enlightened way, you could start telling yourself, I create time. Time comes from you. Whatever that thing is that you've been wanting to do, maybe it's start painting, maybe it's write a book that you've been telling yourself for years you don't have time for, simply try changing the narrative and telling yourself, I have time. When you're with your children, start telling them, we have time, and see how your life will change. The next mindset hack is something I paid a mentor over $25,000 to learn. Of course, he taught me a lot of other stuff too, but this was the most important thing, and it was worth every single penny I invested. And I'm going to teach it to you right now for free. And that is the premise of closer instead of more. Think about the things you want in life and what action steps you can take starting today, right now, to get you closer to them versus constantly pursuing more and more and more. More has no end. More never stops. But when you're thinking about what gets you closer, it forces your brain to visualize and think about and really become conscious of tangible milestones, tangible points you can get to. Thinking about closer forces you to set a real goal. So what is that dollar amount you want in the bank account versus always thinking about, I need more money, I need more money, I need more money? You can always be thinking, I need more money, even if you're a multimillionaire. But if you start thinking about, I want to save up $100,000, does the path to get there not become more clear? When you're thinking about that dollar amount in the bank account that you want to have, and you're about to go spend $200 on stuff you don't need from a store like TJ Maxx, you can ask yourself, does spending this $200 actually get me closer to what I want, or is it just more? So often I'll hear folks talk about shiny object syndrome, shiny object syndrome. If you're thinking about how to get closer versus more, all those objects suddenly become less shiny. The next mindset hack is something I practice every single time I'm triggered, and I call that the conveyor belt. If I have some sort of limiting thought or disempowering thought like, oh, I can't do that, that's easy for them, but it's not easy for me, instead of letting that take over my energetic state, I do a visualization where that thought is literally going by me as if it was on a conveyor belt. At the grocery store, what does that do? It's a perspective shift. You literally become above the thought, and now you can have conscious awareness and decide what to do with it. Sometimes if it's a deep, recurring pattern or thought you have, it may make sense to analyze that, try to figure out where that trigger is coming from. But the majority of time, you can simply let that thought fall off the end of the conveyor belt, especially if it's a thought that you don't want to be true. Do you want it to be true that life is pointless and meaningless and the universe is out to get you? You don't want that to be true, right? Then you need to stop thinking it. Putting that thought on the conveyor belt is going to help you with that. The next mindset hack is something that you can do every single day. It's easy and it's going to elevate your quality of life 100-fold. Remember that you can vibe out and create a more ideal, pleasurable, enjoyable environment any minute of the day. When you take that extra second to put on soft socks in the morning, or to light a candle or put it under a wax warmer, or to turn on a cool, groovy lo-fi or jazz playlist, when you take the extra second to froth the milk in your coffee, does that not give you more main character energy? It creates the reverberation in your world that proves you are worth those few extra seconds of time. Your life, your home is worth those few extra seconds of care. And when you start believing that to be true, the universe will keep confirming that reality for you. You can start doing those things to create more main character energy in your life today for free using what you already have. But will you? I hope you do. The last mindset hack that I have for today is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful ones, and it's something that I'm newly digesting and letting into my life every day. And I really want you to understand this because it'll make the previous mindset hacks work even more powerfully for you. Understand that what you want, whatever you want, is the universe working what it wants through you. Because you're a product of the universe. You are born of it. You are made up of atoms that the universe is made up of. Literally, you are made up of the same material that comes from stars. So when you want something, it's part and parcel of the universe wanting it to exist. Now, you maybe want to be one of those skeptics or the people who question everything, and I totally get it. So if you're wondering like, but what if I wanted to be a homicidal maniac and this and that? Then no, okay? I'm not talking about you. But assuming you are a fundamentally good person who does not want to harm others, who wants bigger things in life, or maybe you want to have 10 dogs or 10 cats, or you want to write a book, or you want to speak on a stage, that is the universe working what it wants through you. Can you use that fact to make your action steps towards getting there become all the more slippery? Let that fact help you drop some of the resistance and some of the stuff you tell yourself that has been holding you back from going for it. If you have been telling yourself, I want to get in better shape, I want to work out more, can you cosplay that girl who goes to the gym, puts on the outfit, and works out, can you just pretend to be her and go do that? Because you understand that you wanting that is the universe wanting it for you and for itself. Now, here is your homework to actually use these mindset hacks to make a difference in your life. But I have to start with the truth. You are already her. It is already in you. You already feel it. You already have this drive, or else you would not have clicked on this video. I am certain of this. I know this to be true. It is already in you. You are already her. Next time you wake up in the morning and you feel tired, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're starting to judge, say to yourself, I am her. I am her. Next time you're about to do something disempowering, like sleep in, skip the workout, eat some crappy food, say to yourself, I am her. What would she do? See if your behavior changes. Now, here is your homework. Number 1, your new mantra, especially anytime you're feeling rushed or you're feeling stuck, like you're not doing what you want to be doing, you tell yourself, I have time. And when you really want to get ninja with it, start telling yourself, I create time. Watch how much easier it is for you to start filling that time with the stuff you actually want to be doing. Next, I want you to write down one thing that you're going to start thinking about getting closer to in life versus the endless pursuit of more, more, more. And if you feel like that homework step is hard, then I want you to break it down to even smaller nuggets. The first step, pulling out the paper and pen. Just do that part. Make it more slippery. If writing down one thing feels hard, like, oh my God, I have to decide one thing, write down 10 things. It's counterintuitive, but watch how much easier it'll be. Homework number 3. Next time you're feeling some type of way or something somebody says or something you saw on Instagram kind of pisses you off, put that thought on the conveyor belt and let it fall off the other end. Homework number 4. Do a little something extra to make your life today a little bit more vibey and cozy and aesthetic and feel good and awesome, whatever that means to you. If that means adding a little edible flowers on top of your coffee, if it means lighting a candle, if it means wrapping yourself up in a blanket while you scroll on Instagram instead of sitting hunched over and uncomfortable while you scroll Instagram, do it, because you are taking the actions that show the universe this is your vibe now. You are the main character. And lastly, remind yourself that what you want is what the universe wants. Make it slippery and start taking the actions to get you closer to that. I'll see you for my next video in 2 Wednesdays from now.